morning and welcome to Staying Healthy Through the Holidays with Elson Haas MD. I'm your host, Angela Murphy, and for those of you who don't know Dr. Haas, he is a practicing physician in Marin County, California, and he's the author of 11 books, including Staying Healthy with the Seasons, which you might have on your shelf. So we are so pleased today to welcome you. Welcome, Dr. Haas.
Oh, thank you, Angela. Hello, everyone. Well, these are 2020, the year to remember, and we only have, 5 or 6 weeks left of it. So hopefully we're going to get through, and we are all dealing with chaos, and we'll get into that a little bit because part of staying healthy with the holidays in 2020 is a little bit different than it has been in other times. So, today we're going to look at that. We're going to look at just how to stay centered and clear and take care of ourselves, because our health is much more in our own hands than we realize. So I have a series of slides that I'm going to show and talk around them, just to give you a lot of content. And, since you're in this class, you can go back and review them. There's a couple of recipes in there. There's some guidelines for protecting yourself from COVID and illness in general, talking about the flu and colds and the 5 keys to staying healthy, and all these resources on the Thinkific platform, as well as on my website, elsonhaasmd.com. So welcome. I'm glad you take the time here this Saturday morning. And if you're looking at it later, welcome. And let's use this material as best we can to stay healthy. That's been my motto for almost my entire career, 45 years. So, all right, Angela, let's see what we have on our slides. All right, so we're staying healthy with the holidays, and that doesn't mean we're eating ginger cookies every day, but we might have a few treats here and there. So welcome to this class right before Thanksgiving, and it's also about preparing for Christmas and New Year's, and what do we need to do to really keep our health together next year. It's really a big year. I think it's a healing year. I think it's going to be a good year, as bad and challenging as 2020 has been. So let's start a little bit right now to take a few minutes together and just center and do a little quiet relaxing of our mind. To me, this is important to do every day because the world is rather chaotic these days. So I suggest you start your day, just as we're going to start our class today, with centering and breathing and just kind of paying attention to your mind. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit about attitude and our mental energies. So, what do you tell yourself? What do you look at? Are you fearful and stressed and worried? Can you embrace your day and do it the best you can, even though, as I said, these are challenging times for us? And I think it's wise to start your day with some gratitude, be thankful, hopefully you're not sick, and be thankful you're not, and just talk to yourself, ask yourself, what can I do? One of my comments is gratitude is a grateful attitude. So I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for this class. I'm grateful for me personally, my interest in teaching and sharing, my long-time work and my staying healthy with the seasons ideas. So put your feet on the floor, close your eyes, put your hands in your lap or on the chair or table, and just take a breath and feel your jaw relax, feel your body kind of come down into your belly a little bit more. Breathe down deep in your belly. And as you breathe in deeply, and as you breathe out, you can breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth, or whatever's comfortable for you. And you can make a little sound, as you breathe out. And let that sound relax your body. Let it feel it going into your body. There's lots of different kinds of breathing in meditation. There's a 4-7-8 one where you breathe in for the count of 4, you hold it for the count of 7, you breathe out for the count of 8. So you can use that as well. But I really suggest that we all start our day with some breathing and relaxation. So I'm just going to take a minute or two now and just breathe with you, and let your shoulders and jaw relax, let your whole body relax. and let the chaos around you, the world, let that just calm down. You don't have to take that on. So let's breathe. Ah, ah. Ah. And a few more deep breaths. And as you breathe out, let your body relax. Let go of tension. Let go of worries. Let go of fears. Let go of stress. Feel the peace in your body as you go in deeply into your core self. And now a couple more breaths, and then just open your eyes and come back to the present state. Okay, and now your body and your mind and your heart are receptive now, because I'm going to share some important information for you on staying healthy and what we do, what we may need to do to not get sick. I mean, that's really the key. My clinic is called Preventive Medical Center of Marin, and prevention really has to do with how we live, not necessarily getting more shots or taking medicines. It really is about taking care of yourself. So let's go through that and what that means. All right, so this time of the year, people get sick more often because there's an inherent conflict about the staying healthy with the seasons idea about tuning into nature. This is a time we're entering in where it's colder and damper, and we need, there's less daylight. It's getting dark at 5:30 or so. And what do we need? We need more rest and we need more sleep. We need to be less outward. Yet, we need to be simple in our diet, nice warming foods. But right now we have, and less so this year, we have more outward activities, more treats and sweets and alcohol around. We have to worry about the COVID, and we have to worry about mask and exposure to elders and people who are more at risk. I mean, there's so many things for us to do. We'll get into more specifics on that. But when we're stressed and we're home more, there's a tendency to eat more. So a lot of people have put weight on. So we have to pay attention to this. So whatever you can do to kind of keep yourself calm and not be pushing yourself too much, not burning the candle at both ends, so to speak. We're all going to be doing less partying and less social activity. So, that's going to help us stay healthier this time of year. So the basic message is rest and sleep more and stress less. This is an important time. Get in bed earlier than you typically do, especially with our recent time change. So I'm trying to get in bed before 10 because that rest time, and I realize when I relax and read a little bit, my body is ready to sleep. So I think all the time we sleep before midnight has more value than the later time, because we have to push ourselves. We push our adrenals to stay up later when the key is to tune into your own natural cycle, to what you need. When do you need to go to sleep and when you wake up? I'm a believer that we should wake up naturally in the morning, and kind of right with the sun ideally, and to have energy for the day and not necessarily have to set an alarm clock and all that. So do your centering meditation before bed or when you get up in the morning. You don't have to take on all the fears and worries of the world right now. um, one of the ways that I stay relatively happy and sane is I watch less news, and I don't really worry about it. I mean, I kind of have to be in denial a little bit of all the chaos, but it doesn't mean we have to be unengaged. So we're going to go through the 5 keys to staying healthy and how we can really work those right now these next couple months. So the lifestyle changes is really the key. I mean, your how you look and feel is primarily a result of how you live. That's one of my maxims for staying healthy. So making simple, informed changes in the 5 keys, where we'll get into more specifically, is going to keep you healthy during the holidays. Our health is in our hands. We know ourselves. So we really, if we be honest, then we know how to take care of ourselves. And that's what I mean by learning to become your own best doctor. So here's the 5 keys. These images are in my Staying Healthy with New Medicine. People who are in All Seasons program have a copy of that sent to them. And, we're going to go through these 5 keys, good nutrition, regular exercise, managing stress, getting proper sleep, and maintaining a healthy attitude toward ourselves, toward others, toward our world. So again, lifestyle change is the key. If you want to have a different result for your health, better digestion, less allergies, less headaches, more energy, better sleep, you have to look at your lifestyle first. So that's one of my messages, besides our health is in our own hands, is lifestyle first, natural therapies next, drugs last. So we don't immediately turn to drugs. So your lifestyle changes you can make are really the most important step you can do toward improving your health. Not putting it in the hands of your doctor, even though you need your doctor to support you sometimes. You really are your own best doctor. That's, if you pay attention to that. All right, so COVID, the world is changing. It has changed this whole year pretty much, and we have to adapt as well. So we're going to stay home more, and we're going to do that more. We have to be inside more. A lot of us were counting on being out in nature and taking walks every day. We have to adjust to that now more with the colder and damper weather. We need to stay away from people as best we can, wash our hands, wear masks in public. I mean, these are, every one of these has some controversy in our country and the world right now, but these to me are the most sensible way. These are also going to protect us from getting the flu, getting colds from each other. But we know we've seen through this pandemic is that we have to adapt. We have to either stay home, or we have to, go to the store at a different time, or we have to wash our hands and wear masks when we go shopping. I mean, all these things, we can adjust to this, we can get through this, so that's staying positive. So also during this time, we're home more. A lot of people have gained weight. That's what we just did my autumn detox. We'll do another detox in January. Get ready for the new year. So, other things that we've had happen is we've had to learn to shop differently. We're buying different things. Our exercise program is often altered. If you're a regular swimmer, if you go to the gym, these are limited right now, and we're indoors more. Most of us have more stress, worry, and fear. So I see a lot of people in my practice, they don't sleep well. It's really common. So, a lot of people are fatigued, so when you don't sleep well, you don't recharge well, and you don't have the energy that you could have. So how can we make this work for us? How can we create an advantage, a positive outcome for all these limitations that we're experiencing? So first you got to tune into where you are, and then, take an honest look at what you're doing in all these areas we're going to talk about: nutrition, exercise. Where can we improve? Are there some adjustments we can make? And how do we follow through on that? And that's part of my programs, are making a commitment to yourself. Make a plan. We have for every class we do, make a plan. What are you going to do about that? So I want you all to be thinking, and maybe write down afterwards, or during the class now, what are a few things you can do in each of these 5 keys to improve your health during the holiday challenges? See, I even read that line. I don't tend to do that, but I think that's really important. So look at, is there one thing you can do in each of those 5 keys? And we're going to get into those in a minute. So does anybody have any questions or comments at this moment? For what we've talked about so far, and try and make it relevant. I'm not doing personal consultations at this time, so let's try not to focus on a question about your own personal health at the moment.
You can type your questions if you have them. You can type them in the chat, or if you click on the participant button at the bottom of your screen, you can see where you can raise your hand, and then we'll give you the mic and you can talk to Dr. Haas. Something you might want to address, Dr. Haas, could you talk a little bit more about what would happen if people don't change their lifestyles?
Well, some people are relatively healthy, and that's the whole point of this: being proactive, being preventive. That's why my book, "Staying Healthy with the Seasons," talks about what do I do ahead of time. And we're going to doing a class coming up in a couple weeks on the doyo, which is a transitional time between seasons, and that's really the key time to activate. So on December 12th, we're doing a class on Saturday morning again on the doyo, the transitional times. But if you're more likely to get sick when you don't take care of yourself, when your body's more congested and you have more mucus, and you're eating more sugar and eggnog and cheesecake and pumpkin pie and whipped cream and stuffing and all the things that are more congesting type foods. You have more mucus in your body, because this is a time, especially in the autumn colder time, it's a time where we make more mucus, and that's a place where germs live, and that's where they can develop and create problems in the body. But I'm one of my comments, one of my I'm a philosopher physician, so I've been doing that for all my life. One of my suggestions is healthy bodies don't get sick very easily, and healthy bodies have to do with the acid alkaline state of the body, and the level of the diet, and the amount of congestion and mucus that we have when we stay clean. And that's why I do regular detoxing and cleansing, is to keep my body lighter. And at 73, I feel pretty good. I don't take any medicines, and I have good energy. And I still love to eat, so that's why I have to detox. So I need all your help in helping me get through that. But yeah, I think your risk of getting sick is much more when you don't take care of these particular 5 keys that we're going to get into now.
All right, so no one has raised their hands, but Lisa did type in a question. She said, do you recommend using a humidifier during the winter months?
You can, if you feel like you're someone who gets dry. I think more importantly is an air purifier. I think everyone should own an air purifier for their home in case there's fires, in case there's bad air out there. And if you have any kind of allergies at all, sensitivities, damp house, you need to really, have that. So you can find them for $100 or less. You can find them for $1,000. I mean, you have to look around and see. But to me, I think that's kind of a requirement for every home.
All right, well, it looks like we don't have any more questions at this time. You'll have an opportunity to ask some more questions later on. So we'll continue with the slides.
All right. All right. So let's go into. So I put attitude first. We're also doing a 5 keys um, program in my all seasons class for 1 week each on each of the 5 keys we're talking about. And attitude we started first because with attitude, it's kind of the primary one, because if you take your attitude, and this is when I did my first cleanse back in 1976, I realized it mattered what I ate. It mattered what I put into my body. I only have one body. I want to take care of it in a loving way. So when I did that, I started eating better. I shifted my mind first, and I started eating better. I did more regular exercise. I learned how to communicate better, so I didn't let relationships stress me out as much. So, this is about shifting your mind, that self-talk that goes on, in your head. Like, do you put yourself down a lot, or can you be positive with yourself? So what's going on in that mind? What are your attitudes toward life? Is the world a dangerous place? It is now more than ever. Or can you have some safe and friendly kind of interactions? Can you know that the choices you're making will keep you protected? But be aware of what's going on in your head. Are you cutting yourself down, or are you building yourself out? A lot of that mental chatter comes from how our parents were with us. How, what kind of love do we have? What kind of support? Were we cut down and castigated, or were we built up and believed in? Uh, so we want a grateful attitude. We want a gratitude is a healthy attitude, and it's being grateful. All right, nutrition. I write a lot about nutrition. It's really important now. We still may have some partying. We still have Thanksgiving coming up. Can we most of the time be eating food that fuels our body? So that's the number one idea in nutrition. Food is your fuel, and if you overfeed it, you get clogged up. So we want to adjust it with the seasons. Seasonal eating is basically When it's cold outside, you eat foods that warm you up. When it's hot outside, you eat foods, or drink things that are cooling you down. Simple idea. Nature provides us with those things at the time. So now is the time to focus a lot on veggies, even hard squashes and things you have to bake more. Also eat good proteins and oil containing foods like seeds and nuts and avocados, using good oils on your salads as well. The closer to the garden and the orchards, better. Fresh is best. And then also every so often, if you're habituated to, what I call the snacks, SNACC, sugar, nicotine, alcohol, caffeine, and chemicals, if you have habits of those, do a little break every so often, once or twice a year, even for ideally 2 or 3 weeks, even a month, where if you're drinking 2 or 3 cups of coffee a day and having a couple glasses of wine at night, when is the last time you took a break from that? Take a couple weeks off. And then now particularly is the time to watch your sugar and alcohol. If you're working and not at home all the time, if you're going to a place of business, we have to pay attention also in terms of spreading germs, that we're not eating a lot of things that other people make. We want to take care of our own food. And so if you go to work still, take what you need with you, ideally. So that, those are some basic nutrition ideas. And so what we want to focus on is warming foods, regular soups, stir fried with, veggies, casserole, turkey veggie loaf, one of my faves. I like ketchup on it too, sorry to say, but that's good. And then you can just do a combination, or rice, bean, veggies. You bake it all together. It works well. And have warming spices like cayenne and ginger and garlic and onions. And those are things that keep your body warm, that help your circulation. A lot of people get cold easily, especially women. And when we're trimmer, we get cold easily too. So here's just a simple one. You can go back to this for more specifics, but basically, I've taken a big bowl. I have my grandmother's old wooden chopped liver bowl. She used to make chopped liver in it. I didn't like it too much, but so I take a couple pounds of ground turkey, put it in a big bowl, crack a couple eggs in it, put a couple oats in it, some tomato sauce, and then I dice up, at least equal amount of that whole amount of burger veggies, zucchini, peppers, mushrooms, etc. Pieces of chopped garlic, and you mix it all together and mash it, and then you put it in a baking dish or a couple baking dishes, or you can make it, you can do burgers with it. You can just put it in a pan and pan fry it that way. Lots of veggies in there, and you cook it. I usually tend to cook it a little slower, like 350, even 325 longer, but you can also cook it at 450, and it'll get done faster. But I like the veggies to kind of coalesce with the turkey. So I don't have a vegetarian version of this, but your vegetarian version would be a rice and bean and veggies all, cooked, so maybe, even cooked a little separately and then added together and baked together. So I think that can be done. So if you're looking at nutrition and supplements, here's just a simple idea of, to me, the 5 or 6 key nutrients to protect our immunity and support. I have one of my books with my co-writer Sandra Barrett, who's done a lot of classes with me as well, is called Ultimate Immunity, and there's tips on how to support your immune system. So definitely we should all be taking vitamin D daily, vitamin C a couple times a day, vitamin A, support your mucous membrane protection, vitamin B complex, and zinc. And then there's a number of other things like NAC, which is N-acetylcysteine, which is a supporter of glutathione, as is selenium, trace mineral that helps support your detoxification. Fresh garlic in your diet. Elderberry syrup is common. Lipoic acid has an antioxidant effect, supports the liver. So these are just some general things, and you could just do a minimal amount of all these things, and I think it does protect, and helps your immune system function optimally. It doesn't mean you won't get sick, but there's even some studies that people on vitamin D had less COVID symptoms when they got exposed. People, and on zinc as well. So those are some key areas there. All right, so exercise, we want to do something daily. If you can't get out and your body's okay, do some stretching. I mean, a lot of people are doing Zoom classes. You can do, there's so many, there's probably tens of thousands or millions even of classes you can get for free online, and just find one that feels good to you. And I would think stretching is there. You want to balance, some cardio activity with some weight work. And yoga can even be weight work, because you can work with your upper arms and your lower arms. But stretching, hiking, yoga, qigong, weights, all these different combinations of things. When you do it regularly, your body will detoxify better, especially if you're sweating a little bit, and it'll give you kind of a relaxed, energy. It builds. You say that regular exercise builds your endorphins, which are neurochemicals that make you feel happy and better. So also, just over the year in general, you want to have things that you can do outdoors and things you can do indoors. Because if it's raining outside, you're probably not going to go out for a hike, but maybe you will. But indoor and outdoor activities, and as I said, these are a lot of benefits that you have for your body, mind, as well as maintaining your weight. When you keep eating and you don't exercise, you put weight on. Everybody pretty much knows that, and you want to kind of take a break from that. So, and it's hard when you're inside a lot and you're not moving your body. You tend to want to be stagnant and feed yourself. And you've all heard the expression that sitting is the new smoking. Because when you don't exercise and you sit around and watch TV and eat snacks, you're going to have trouble and be sicker, and not live as long, most likely. All right, stress. This is a very general term. It's like anxiety, worry, etc. And these are crazy times for sure. It's time after Thanksgiving to give yourself a little time to break. Get you do your shopping from home as much as you can. Try and take a few days after Thanksgiving to kind of lighten up a little bit. We're just trying to eat a more reasonable amount and spread your Thanksgiving over a couple days with leftovers, so you don't have to, stuff too much. Um, but remember the breathing and centering. That's a good way to calm yourself down. A lot of people I see have high blood pressure. This is breathing and centering is a way to kind of calm your blood pressure down, as well as watching your salt intake, watching your caffeine intake. All those things can cause blood pressure to go up. So just because there's chaos going on, I mean, if you watch the news anytime, even the last 10 years, there's always trouble. There's always a murder. There's always a fire. There's always some kind of bad news. The news is not about, all the positive things going on. Sometimes there is a positive, story, but not that often. So you don't have to take all this stuff on. I mean, obviously you do if it gets close to home. If you have a fire near you, or you have, a personal friend or family member who's sick, yes, that's you have to take action then. But typically, don't take all these worries and stresses on that are going on in the world. And exercise is the key to stress management, as it's being out in nature. And as I said, you still have to take care of things that come close to home or affect you and your family, or your work or things like that. So dealing with stress is crucial, as is sleep. Now, how many of you don't sleep well? I mean, it's close to 50% of the country don't sleep well. It's probably higher now with COVID and everything. So, we need good sleep. Our bodies are built that way. Everybody's a little bit different. Some people only need 5 or 6 hours. Some people need 7 or 8 hours. Studies have shown that 7 hours sleep, um, it seems to be the best amount. But we need to rest and recharge, and even more so during the winter. We don't hibernate totally, but we should do a little more hibernation and be in bed more. Um, Sleep hygiene, there's tips on my website. There's also a video I have on my YouTube channel called Healing Sleep. It's about 10-15 minute video on it goes through sleep hygiene, the tips for getting your electromagnetics out of your bedroom, making sure you're not doing too much in your bedroom other than resting and sleeping, loving too if you have that opportunity. Um, but there's 10 tips on the website also, and there's a lot of natural remedies like melatonin, 5-HTP or tryptophan. That's a precursor of serotonin in your brain. GABA theanine is a combination formula that I use, a product called Zen that helps kind of calm you. Like I wake up at 2 or 3 often, and I get up and pee like many people do. And then, sometimes my brain's a little bit awake and I want to, calm it. And gabapentin do that. And there's a lot of herbal products like valerian and catnip and skullcap and many others that there's formulas in the health food store you can try. And a lot of people are on medicines and we want to use these limitedly, but we also may need them. Some people are on them nightly, but if we can use them on occasionally to break a cycle of poor sleep, so I work with these, in my practice, I have a lot of people with sleep issues. Again, we work with natural changes, lifestyle changes, work with herbs and other supplements first, and drugs also. And typically, you have a combination of those, and you learn what they do for you. How well do they work? Because every person is unique in that way. How well do they work for you, and what are you going to take, when you do that? So that's important. All right, so those are the main 5 keys, and we'll get in a little bit more on that. But let's see how many of you are doing well. Maybe you can type in the chat. How many of you feel like you give yourself a rating, 1 to 10? Can I do this, Angela? Will this work now? Okay. Give yourself a rating. First of all, overall, how do you feel like you do pretty much in all those 5 keys? If you gave yourself one score from 1 to 10, 10 is like you're just perfect, you sleep well, you're low stress, you eat well, you exercise, and 1 is like, I need help in all these areas. So how many of you give yourself just a general rating? All right. I'm seeing a couple 8s, a 5, ooh, a 9, 7, 8. All right, so I got a relatively healthy group. Everybody's pretty much 5 and over. All right, so now type in what your weakest area is out of the 5 keys. Remember, attitude, nutrition, exercise, sleep, and stress. So just type it. All right, there's an exercise, there's sleep, there's stress, there's exercise, attitude, stress, exercise, exercise again, exercise. All right, so we're all right. So that seems to be the number one area. But stress and exercise are the 2 main ones. All right, so what can you do? How can you make it work? Given you might live in a small apartment, might live in a big house, you might live in the country, you might live in the city. What can you do? We have a new kind of curfew, so you're not going to be out late at night. But apparently, I think even with the curfew in California, I think you can still go out walking. So what can you do? Look at a couple things that you can do now in these next couple weeks to get your movement up. Even just doing some calisthenics. It's like when I exercise, I've been doing an outdoor spin class on Mondays, and I just realized when I do stretching after I do some sit-ups, I could, even while I'm watching TV and then I could lie on my back and do a bunch of crunches and get my lower belly working better and do that. So even while you're on TV, for the first couple months of the COVID, I had a rebounder in my living room, and I would put on, I'd put on music, or I'd watch an award, music show or something, and I'd be jumping, or just have the radio on, and that was good for me. So it gets my lymphatic system working. So when you exercise regularly, you have your lymphatic system, which is a place where toxins build up, and one of the causes of people's illnesses. You move your lymphatics, you move the toxins, you really take care of yourself. All right, any other questions? What's a rebounder? I see it from Peggy. A rebounder is like a mini trampoline, circular. It's got a kind of a trampoline pad in the middle. It's got springs on it, and you can bounce, and you can do some side. I used to do a lot of side to side swings, but you want to make sure you're stable, you don't fall down. The rebounder I had has a little bar on it that you can hold on to too, so that's good if you're not used to that. I think they're rentable. They're I think at least a few $100s if you were to buy a good one. But a lot of times you can look online on Craigslist or someplace that people there's so much exercise equipment that people have, less so now because people are looking for something to do at home, but look around and see if there's like a treadmill or an elliptical or something, stationary bike that you can get for cheap, and bring that, put that in your, an outdoor room, or, under your deck somewhere, or inside. So, okay.
Did you see someone else typed in a question?
I didn't see that.
Motivation is the problem. It's Fanny said, motivation is the problem. How do you fix that?
Attitude. Well, the attitude is, can you take care of your body? Are you willing to love your body a little bit more and say it makes a difference? I mean, typically you want to know that what you do helps you feel better. Like if I'm doing any kind of treatment with a patient, I want to know that I'm getting results, whether it's a lifestyle change or a drug or a diet or, a supplement. You have to assess it. Am I better now? Does this feel, am I better? Does my skin rash get better? Does my headache get better? Are my allergies less? Is my blood pressure going down? The key in my integrative family practice is, are we getting the results we want? Can we do that with the least amount of interference, the least amount of drugs? And if not, we have to still work on, then sometimes we turn to drugs because it's not enough to get the blood pressure down or the blood sugar under control without them. So we want better results because those results have to do with how well you do. Can you project yourself and say, okay, if I do this, I'm going to feel better next week? You have to be able to look at the future and what you want that to happen. So if you make a goal, if you make a plan, and Angela will go through a little later all the things we have there, because there's a make a plan. So are you willing to make a commitment to yourself for 2 weeks and say, okay, I'm going to walk every day, I'm going to stretch every day, I'm going to eat more vegetables, I'm going to have a salad every day? Little things that you can do, and they will make a difference almost always. And the key is, if you shift your attitude, it's like, I'm going to take care of myself in a better way, and I'm going to see the results. You're going to get there. So I think that's important. So yeah, that's a great question, because motivation is offer. Hopefully I'm able to motivate you with an improved chance of vitality. And I'm not sure if it was Fanny who asked the question. If you're you're suffering from ill health, a lot of times, sometimes people are depressed also, and there's a good reason to be depressed these days. And you have to work on that. So you might need to talk to your doctor about either something natural you can do to help motivate you. There's a lot. I have one of my articles, and in my Staying Healthy with this nutrition, large nutrition textbook, there's a whole section on depression and fatigue, and how do you go about handling that. So some people take L-tyrosine, which is an amino acid that supports energy and depression. People sleep better. A lot of times you sleep better, you'll have more motivation. So we can work on that too. I do some personal health journeys with people, and we can talk about that as well.
Would you like to share a little bit about how they can make a commitment not only to themselves, but accountability by telling someone else about what they're going to do?
Oh, that's good. You just said it. Yeah, so we find that just on your own, some people can do that. When you're in a group like now, that's why my detox programs, everybody follows through with it, because you're answering to the group. If you have a partner and somebody that you can share that with, like, I'm going to eat much better these days, then we're good. So I think it's making that commitment to yourself first, and then sharing with others. And if you could find your significant other, or your kid, or your brother or sister or a coworker, let's do this. And that's what people do in my detox program. They'll just do, all right, I'm going to do this with my sister Katie, and we're going to do this together, and we're going to support each other, and we're going to talk every day. It really is helpful. I mean, we're not on our own so much, even though we're all much more isolated than ever before. The good side of that is we'll probably spread less illness and less colds and flu. The negative side of that is we feel a little bit depressed or isolated. So I think that's really important. Thanks, Angela, for that.
Would you
Any
like
other?
to go back? Would you like to go back to the slides?
Okay, sure. We have slides.
We do. We have more slides.
Oh, let's talk about flu. Okay. All right. So there's an article. I think Neil just posted it right on my website, elsonhaasmd.com. So it's right there on the homepage. But basically, what you want to do, if you start to feel like you're getting sick, make sure you're hydrated, you're flushing your system well, you're keeping your body warm. I often do like fresh garlic, like I'll dip a couple cloves in honey, or I'll squeeze a few cloves into a warm bowl of soup, but I don't cook the garlic because it loses some of its natural antibiotic effect. Oregano oil is a good antiseptic, basically. And then echinacea golden seal is a tonic for your immunity, and also helps disinfect. But when it's in an alcohol base, like you've seen all those tinctures, and especially if you have a sore throat or beginning cold, if you put that in your mouth, then that helps disinfect your throat. I'm a big fan, and I've been talking about this for 30 years. There's was original research on it, but not so much more recently. Vitamin A, you don't want to take these levels every day because they have a potential toxicity. They're a little stress on the liver and things like that. But when you're sick, your body handles it. And so I have people get a vitamin A, not beta carotene, 25,000 IU capsule, and do 2 capsules 3 times a day for a few days, and then a couple times a day for a couple days, and then once a day for another 5 days, then you stop. So vitamin A is an immune supporter. It also helps you fight off infections at the mucous membrane in your throat, in your sinuses, and in your digestive tract, everywhere. So to me, I think that's still a useful treatment. Also, I do vitamin C regularly every hour or two, 500 to 1,000 milligrams. And then I have a lot more details in there, on the website. But I think also you want to, if you have a sauna or steam, like I've kicked out a few colds, over my life. When I go exercise and sweat, I actually wear an extra layer, so I sweat more, and then I take either a hot bath, or if I can get in the steam room, that's great. But nowadays it's a little less easy to do that. Or a sauna, some people have a sauna at home, they can do that too. So when you exercise and sweat, that'll help kind of, besides strengthen your immunity, it'll also help you calm your body down. All right. So other things, ideas for holiday health is stay connected to others. Zoom with your family and friends. Keep up your connections. Okay, just because we're not seeing people in person, there's a lot of discussion about, should we go to Thanksgiving at our family's house? Should we stay home? Can we Zoom? Should we just do our own thing? So work on yourself. I have a crew coming here right after class, and I'm gonna straighten up my garage and move things out of my house, and really kind of refine and get rid of a lot of stuff that I have here. I'm doing early spring cleaning. So much as you can organize and simplify as you prepare for winter, and you're going to be home more. We're already home more, but we're going to be home even more as we get through the colder, damper times. And find some different soups. Go online. There's tens of thousands of soup recipes you can find. I have a lot in my books. If you have any in my books, even in Detox Diet. Staying healthy with nutrition. I have soup recipes. If you can find an old copy of my cookbook for all seasons, that has tons of them in there too. So if you're going to travel, watch that. I have my tips for travel on my website. Also, you want to list my son just flew from here. He was staying in my teepee in my backyard, and he just went to see his fiance on the island of Dominica, and he's just flew to Miami. Then he changed planes and had to be overnight in Puerto Rico, and then he's waiting for his plane right now to fly into the island. But then he's got to be quarantined for a week. So, the challenges of flying is, what if you get stuck somewhere? What if you have to get quarantined somewhere? Or if you're exposed to somebody who is sick, what I'm hearing from my patients and friends who have been traveling is the airport is relatively safe the way they have anything. Everybody's got masks on. The planes are less full, but no, it doesn't for sure mean that, especially this time, the planes may be full. Um, and, so you have to weigh it all. I mean, I talked to many patients these last couple of weeks, should I go see my mom? She's going to be 95 years old, and and I have to go quarantine and stay in a different room for the first week. And, you just have to weigh all those different factors. It's like, weighing your lifestyle, weighing your habits and your 5 keys. You have to look at that. There's some risk of flying and being, isolated, but there's also, I think they've made it relatively safe. I haven't heard, I think you're more likely if you're hanging out in a party and people aren't wearing masks and you're in a small group enclosed in a house, I think you're more likely. If when you're eating together, remember when you're not eating with your mask on, we haven't figured out how to do that quite yet. I've seen masks with little straws going through them so you can drink, but people are, usually not, and also you're eating food prepared by others often, and that, has a little more risk than doing it yourself. So those are important. All right, so let's just say what's coming up here. So you're all invited to December 12th, which is, was that 2 weeks or 3 weeks? Anyway, I think it's 3 weeks from today. Um, and that's on the door. That's on transition to winter, and that is part of the all seasons program. But I'm also inviting everyone who wants to come to that as my guests to participate. That just so you can tune into what's happening there. Winter solstice is December 21. That's not a class. And then January 9th starts the all seasons winter course. And I'd love to have as many of you join us as you can. We're going to be setting that up you'll get an email about that. It's not quite ready for you to sign up for that yet, but we'll be sending you a message about that. And then we're going to do a winter detox, which is a cleanup, a supportive program where we're all cleaning up and working on our 5 keys and working on our diet and taking a break from caffeine, alcohol, sugar, wheat, dairy, things like that. And it's a very supportive program. I've been doing detox programs since the 1976, really 77. And every year I do cleanses and detox programs. And to me, it's one of the more valuable things I've done in my career is just to get to see people make the changes. And we're going to post some comments from people in all seasons, in this coming week also, and just the benefits they're getting from being in class and paying attention to the changes that they're making, and getting the benefits from that. So I think it's really important. It's my life work basically, is to really work on helping people stay healthy and pay attention to their natural cycles and the seasons, and really be your own best doctor, as we said. All right, so this is all seasons. I'm talking a little bit about that. And so the next slide has to do, so that's my book, Staying Healthy with the Seasons, celebrating 40 years in print coming up this next few months. And I worked on that with Bethany and Neil, who's I still work with both of them, so I have a long-term relationships with a lot of people on working on that. But it really integrates natural and Eastern and Western medicine, it stands for New Medicine, which is my more recent book, Staying Healthy with New Medicine. But it really connects with anatomy and physiology and the elements and nutrition and herbs and how we kind of stay connected throughout our whole cycle. So we're basically tuning into nature's cycle and, for improving our health year around. So one of the messages I have about this is this, I just did the autumn program with people signed up, and, it's not a one-time thing. It's really about paying attention, feeling part of a group of support to take care of ourselves and tune in every season proactively as best as you can, preventively as best we can, so that we're making our changes ahead to protect ourselves. I've had, I've had several 100,000 of these books sold, and a lot of people have told me over the years that's my first book. I got introduced to natural healing, and I've spoken to nutrition classes and large groups of people who use that as one of their educational basic books. And it really is a simple concept. pay attention to the cycles and the seasons of the year. This is Hippocrates. Look at the seasons of the year and what effects they have on us. That's the first place to look at our health. And so I'm going to be guiding people, week in, week out, and you have access to us all, on an individual level to help support you through as you go. So, the key is staying healthy. It's like we can stay away from doctors more in the medical system, which is often, a dangerous spot if we take care of ourselves. So Angela is going to share with you a moment now about all the different components of the All Seasons program and what we can do to support you in that way. Thank you.
All right. If you go to, here, I'll share my screen so you can see, as Dr. Haas mentioned, we do have the All Seasons Health Program is on our learning platform, which is called Thinkific. And if you go to elsonhaasmd.thinkific.com, you come to our landing page, and then you get to see all the different classes. And we're going to take a look at All Seasons Health Program, which is a year-long program, but you can take it just for a season if you want. And it includes the detox for that particular season. So you can watch a little video here, you can scroll down, and you can see all the different things that are in the course. You get a copy of a digital copy of the new medicine book. The doyo is the transitional time, as Dr. Haas mentioned, between the seasons. So we did one September 12th, and the next doyo will be December 12th. And as he mentioned, you are invited to join us for that one. And then this particular one, the doyo, you can, it is set up as a preview. So you drop down, click on the drop down, and you can see that the introduction is free, the basics are free. So you click on those, and then you'll be taken. You do have to sign up just for a Thinkific account. And I'll go back. But that it is free, and then you'll get to see all of the different things that are, you can watch the video from that. And then if you do choose to join us for the All Seasons program, then you get all of the different times we have a class. There's an introduction, a study guide, the video, we have the live classes with Dr. Haas. There's also an audio if you would like to just listen to it while you're out walking and getting your exercise. And you can see the slides so that you don't have to take notes like from today's class. And then there's meditation. So just go to elsonhaasmd.thinkific.com, and you can look at all of the different things here to see what is part of the class. And right now, as Dr. Haas mentioned, in the All Seasons, we are doing the 5 keys, 1 key per week. And then in each of those, you get an introduction to that key. There's questions and suggestions for you to evaluate your own situation right now in that key. And then there's different affirmations or support resources and materials. So right now we're just finishing up the nutrition week, and there's recipes in there and all different kinds of resources, ways to track what you're doing, and we're building on it each week. So you want to keep your attitude good while you're doing the nutrition. Then this coming week, we're going to be doing the exercise. And so you get tips and, again, a way to evaluate. So we hope you'll decide to join us for the All Seasons Health Program.
It's amazing all the stuff we have in there. So yeah, it really is a family. And as we promoted it originally, it's like less than $1 a day to keep your health together. And I love teaching this way. I've been doing my practice is probably 30-40% now. It was about 70% on Zoom, but I've been really busy as a doc too, because there's very few doctors who are seeing patients and really trying to take care of people and keep them healthy. So anyway, thank you, Angela. That was great. And I'm always amazed at how much stuff we have in there. So I appreciate my team of Angela and Neil and everybody to kind of keep all this going with me.
And we have a real nice comment from Peggy in the chat. She says, I don't know if anyone else on this call is in the All Seasons class. I am, and it's really good. Thanks, Peggy.
Thanks, Peggy. Yeah.
And you also had a question here from Fanny. She asks, do you think taking probiotics as part of helping your immune system at the beginning of illness is a good thing to do?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different probiotics out there. It's hard to say. That hasn't really been documented, but the microbiome, our intestinal flora is a really important area. So yeah, probiotics is definitely something we could also probably keep going, keep our healthy bacteria flowing.
All
So,
right.
okay.
We have a couple more minutes. If anyone else has any other questions about anything Dr. Haas went over, or about the All Seasons program or the detoxes, just type them in the chat. Or again, if you want to raise your hand, we can call on you.
And I hope we'll see you all on 12/12, and feel free to email us if you have questions. And there's a free class on Thinkific on the 5 keys, right? So it's separate from our All Seasons one. So if people want to assess themselves there, you can see where you can work a little better with lots of ideas. So
all right. Any last words, Dr. Haas? Doesn't look like you have any more.
I want to wish you all happy holidays and Thanksgiving, and embrace as much of what we talked about today as you can, because it is really important. How you take care of yourself is, you can't really, if you don't have your health, Hippocrates said, people have to realize that health is our most valuable possession. So if you don't have your health, you can't do that. And the way you have your health is you take care of yourself and you follow your 5 keys and whatever else, you need to do to be healthy, so that's been my motto. And, my books, and I don't know how many dozens of, articles and blogs I have on my website, but I just have a lot of information to support you in all kinds of areas. So please take advantage of that, and I'd love to see you all again and again and again. And I'd like to have you all in All Seasons, because it's my offering, in my aging years to the people and that I care about. I care about everybody's health, and that's really what we want to accomplish is get everybody staying healthier, getting healthier, and experiencing the joys as we age, because aging is not always fun for everybody. So let's make it more fun. I tell people, all my patients, I said, I still practice at 73 because I want healthcare to be fun and educational. So don't get too serious on me.
There are a couple of other comments here if you'd like them. Somebody mentioned organics. Is that important?
I think it's part of, if you look at some of my, earlier classes, you realize that the cell health is at the core of our health. So we need all the nutrients we need, and we need to limit our toxins. So whatever ways you can limit your toxin intake from the air, food, and water, and cosmetics and hair products as well, that's going to help you stay healthy.
Great. And Giselle wrote a very nice comment. She said, Staying Healthy with the Seasons was one of the first books I got when I started naturopathic college 20 years ago. And it is still one of my favorite resources and a guiding force in my practice. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all. I'm touched. A blessing. Thanks, Angela. Thanks, everybody. Happy holidays. And I'll see you after Thanksgiving and before Christmas and New Year's. Okay. Namaste healthy.